What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we got a juicy one for you as we're talking gun media and the future. What's next for gun media? We've done videos like this in the past where we kind of just, it's like, hey, is it Halloween? Hey, is it Nightmare on Elm Street? Hey, is it Texas Massacre? Is it something original? You know, we've done all that. We've gone down this road before. But I have some clips from Wes, which I asked if I could use them. All right, we get permission around here. That he did a stream the other day that was basically talking about music copyright and basically just game development in general. And he basically he takes all of these questions in and just spits out information at us. And a couple interesting clips came out of that. And I wanted to start first by just one, dedicated servers. It seems like no matter how many times I explain it, no matter how many times Wes explains it, no matter how many times somebody bitches at me about it, people don't understand them. And why they're so unbelievably expensive, why the game had to lose dedicated servers. So I'm going to show this clip from Wes now that basically talks kind of how the pricing works with dedicated servers, and we'll talk about that a little bit and how that relates to F13, the game.
Multiplayer game, to figure out like how much does it cost for servers. There's not an exact formula because how you code the servers and how much data you're pushing across it, how many players you have, all those variables change it. But if you're in just to give you a basic idea, if you're in the like 5 to 10,000 concurrent players and you hold that number for 30 days, that's roughly can be between $100,000 and $175,000 a month.
Okay, so like Wes said, man, you're looking at only 5 to 10,000 concurrent players in a 30-day span. Could be anywhere from $100,000 to $175,000 a month. Like, Jesus.
And that was easily more than 5,000 players across all platforms.
Yeah, I would probably say they're in that range. And even if they are, let's say they're less than that, because people are going to say that. I don't think that's true, but if it is less than that, okay, still $50,000 to $100,000 a month from an independent game company to put out dedicated servers
on a 3-year-old game.
On a 3-year-old game that everyone's shitting on anyway. It's like, I understand. This is why I can't believe they got this far. Honestly, It's pretty wild that they've gone 2 years without having any new content, bringing in DLC money,
Right?
And yet they kept those going. So that's why I'm not bummed about it because we got more than we really should have with it.
Yeah.
And host migration not being there sucks, right? But I have no idea what goes into that, what kind of coding there is. And you're asking Black Tower, who is known for single player type of games, to try and code dedicated servers or host migration.
Right. We're not game developers. We have no idea what it takes. And when you build an entire game around not having host migration, it's not just like drag, drop, save, done, host migration's in. Like I'm not in game development. I know that's not how it works.
Yeah, right. Like the situation sucks. It's always going to suck. All right. But there's fun to be had. When we streamed the other night, we were playing all pub matches. We get a lot of shit like, well, you guys are content creators. You just play private games. Didn't play any private games. We played 6 hours of pubs and not a single host left in the middle of the game. So, I'm just saying, like, yes, people will leave. It's going to happen. Games are going to end. But at the end of the day, you should still be able to finish games, man. You should still be able to have a good time. And at least it's there. And honestly, go back and look at games that you've played. How many have dedicated servers?
Exactly. Like, dedicated servers are not as common as people may think, especially on console.
Yeah. And if you are, it's big. It's AAA games. Like Dead by Daylight took them 4 years. Took them 4 years with, always making money on DLC, always having high game sales, always having high concurrent players. Took them 4 years to get there.
And 2 years after, content stopped for Friday the 13th, the game, we still had dedicated servers. And like you said before, honestly, didn't think we would last this long.
Yeah. So I don't know. I wanted to get that in there because it's something that's missed a lot. Just how overwhelming the price of dedicated servers can be. I'm just glad we got to experience them for as long as we did. And hopefully, now that they've done this shit before, their next game will probably start with dedicated servers, and that'll be nice.
And maybe their next game, once dedicated servers are gone, maybe they have host migration figured out. Maybe, we don't know.
I don't know. I just relay the information, folks. Okay, another clip from Wes here. This one is interesting, a little juicy in the drama world. We talk about Horror Inc. all the time. We've talked about the lawsuit a million times. We talk about how Horror Inc. kind of has caused their own breakdown of their own franchise, right? They pretty much have buried themselves in a way here. And that kind of gets missed in translation as well. So, I think hearing what Wes has to say about Horror Inc. and their current relationships and complications there maybe can help give some, I don't know, clarification on that situation they got going over there, because it doesn't seem to be a very good one. So check out this clip real quick.
Are there bad vibes between you and Horror Inc.? Bad vibes. I wouldn't say necessarily bad vibes. There's frustrating vibes. I would never work with him again.
So Wes is a nice guy, and he's there's not bad vibes, but it's frustrating. I'd never work with them again.
And the pause there, he really thought about what he had to say, and the fact that he still said that he would never work with them again should speak volumes. It's not just the words he said. You got to read in between the lines a little bit.
Yeah. None of us will ever really know what that relationship looks like, or who said what, who's made this choice and that choice. It doesn't really matter. The point is, things didn't go as smooth as they should have went for this game. And maybe a lot of that comes back to the lawsuit. But a lot of that seems to come back to just business relationships in general. So tough spot there, but it kind of makes sense, where we are. It's a bullet to dodge in the future. And I think it's important to show that clip and that relationship, because it begs the question, is it because they're a horror IP and they're a big license holder? Is that worth going through again with another horror IP? Is that something that's, part of their decision when working on this next game that they're working on? Did they step away from horror IP because of that? I don't know.
Right, because as we do know, Horror Inc., the rights holders had to approve every single patch before the lawsuit and especially after the lawsuit. So maybe he's referring to something like that. Maybe they were a little more stricter than they thought, than is normal with copyright holders. Or maybe it was just how the lawsuit and communication with that was handled, because they posted, I remember the end of content forum post, it was Horror Inc.'s statement, not Gun Media's.
Yeah,
and it kind of threw Gun under the bus a little bit. Yeah. And Ilphonic as well.
Yeah, that statement was basically because it's well, we didn't say to cancel content. We said we said, hold on. Well, we're holding, still holding.
Right. Hey, yeah, hold on. We know that you're an indie company. We know that you don't have, undisposable amounts of money to stay afloat and just hold on for years. They're still holding on.
Yeah.
And that's something that maybe Horror Inc., the rights holders didn't get, that Gun Media wasn't on that scale to keep creating content, paying a content team for content that would probably have never gotten released or waited years. I mean, it's been since June 2018.
Yeah, 2.5 years.
And
it was June 27th, or no, it was June 2018. Right.
Right.
So, I just work here.
So yeah, that might be sort of the relationship he's talking about, just communication and misunderstanding in, how Gun stays afloat as a business. You're basically putting your game out of business by telling them, keep doing whatever you're doing, just don't release anything. Spend a shit ton of money making more content that might not get released, but you got the money, right? That could have been a big bullet point there.
Right. Yeah. So we'll see in terms of where they go with the IP, which if it's an IP, we'll talk about that here in a second as well. But first, in terms of Gun's next game, we got past that shit. All right, we got past the boring little shiz. All right, but we can talk about the next game. So we did have some information about it, and one big thing that I had a question about was if it's multiplayer, right? Is it single player? Is it multiplayer? Because what Gun has done so far, well, we have Friday the 13th, the game. We have Reach and Clear as well, if you want to go down that path. But then you have Layers of Fear 2, which isn't their game by any means. They basically just helped out Bloober get it out. They helped in terms of some feedback on gameplay, and then they helped market it and sell the game. And yeah, that game obviously is single player, one playthrough kind of run here, but Wes makes it pretty clear where they're going with the next game in this next clip, so take a look.
Will the new game be more similar to the gameplay of Friday the 13th or more closely to Layers of Fear 2? Well, Layers of Fear 2 was not my game. That was Bloober's game. And we just thought they were cool guys. We liked the first one. We knew they were making a second one. They needed a little bit of help. And so we're like, yeah, bro, we got you. And so we helped them bring it to market. We make... kind of our specialty is horror multiplayer. So that's what you'll see in the future from Gun.
So yes, it's pretty straightforward. Gun Media's next game is going to be a horror multiplayer game. That is their specialty. So that's what they're going to be doing. And, one thing that makes me really excited about Gun's next game, and this is another reason I wasn't really beat up when the end of Friday the 13th is happening, because I know their focus is going into this next game, is just how excited Wes is. Dude, Wes has done so many teases, and just like he's like, you have to wait and see. Like he did the tweet, he did the tweet after the servers were over, or when it was announced that the last patch was coming out, and he was like, "Oh, Gun, what's your next project gonna be?" And he just has that one GIF he always uses
from New Girl.
Yeah. So he's excited, Gun's excited. It just, we gotta get there. We gotta get there. That much excitement, though. I come back to like horror IPs, and it's hard for me to not think that they have another horror IP they're working on. First of all, a while back in one of Wes's streams, he was talking about, again, copyright things, just going through Q&A, and he said just straightforward that a lot of IPs, after the tremendous success that was Friday the 13th, the game. You hate it, love it, I don't really care. It sold a lot of units, and as an indie game doing that, that's a big deal. So Wes was pretty straightforward. He said, yeah, a lot of IPs have contacted Gun, big and small, is what he said. So when you have the door open, that many doors open, you're not going to walk through at least one of those things? Huh? I get the experience of Horror Rink probably wasn't ideal, but I'm sure there are better ones out there.
Right. And you learn from experience too. You know what you liked and disliked about the last, how many years since they started working with Horror Inc.?
Yeah, like 5 now. 4 or 5.
Like you learn what you liked, what you didn't like, what could be changed, what can't be changed, and you go into your next, meeting, and you have, those thoughts in mind, and you work out little details like that to make sure that you're having the best experience possible, so you can make the best game possible for, deserving fans.
Yeah, exactly. Wes did get asked this question: are you doing an original game? Are you doing another horror franchise game? So I got a quick clip. I'll go ahead and show it to you. Here we go.
Question 1: will your new game be something completely new, or will it be something based off of another franchise, such as Halloween, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, A Nightmare on Elm Street? You'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, so he did the whole camera, looked right into the camera, No, you just have to wait and see. Yeah, so he doesn't really give you... He did stutter on Nightmare on Elm Street, though. So, a Nightmare on Elm Street game confirmed.
I remember back when they would be doing their Tuesday and Thursday streams. I think it might have been JJC who was in the chat, and when it would be like, "Oh, Wes blinked when he said this. Wes winked when he said Halloween. Oh, Halloween confirmed." Yeah, that's you really can't take anything from the stumbling on Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, no, I'm just fucking with you. But okay. So the thing is, I do think it's a horror IP game. I think it is, and there's only so many that are probably worth Gunn's time following something as big as Friday the 13th. Right? You have Halloween. All right, that's the big one. That's the one all of us are kind of thinking, especially because you have the tweets that Wes Keltner had, a while back, where he was like, or he tweeted at Ryan Turek and Blumhouse and Jason Blum, and it's like, come on, I mean, can't be more obvious, huh? Right? So
shoot your shot, man.
Yeah. So clearly they have an interest in Halloween. Why wouldn't they? Wes said in our interview with him a while back that if there was one game they could do, they'd want to do Halloween. So if that door was open for them, if it was there, you would think they would want to do it, right? Like that one makes sense. And considering Halloween and where it's at right now with Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends, and Jason Blum has said he's interested, like he'd do a video game. It seems like that's a good time. Now is the best time to make a Halloween game.
Right. There are only so many franchises that are, alive right now that, would warrant a game. Like I hope that like these rights holders understand that like Friday the 13th, the game introduced so many new fans to the franchise. They bought the movies after playing the game and they love the game. So hopefully a franchise doesn't sit there and say, we've sold this many, DVD Blu-rays. Like this is how many people are interested in playing our game. Anybody over 60 is not going to play a video game. That's not true. Hopefully they can understand the impact that Friday the 13th the game had on bringing in new fans to the franchise. With that being said, what other franchises are alive and well and would do very well in a video game format, a multiplayer video game format?
Well, the only other two that are seemingly obvious are Nightmare on Elm Street, because we know they're going through some legal issues, but that seems to be getting resolved, especially because the rumors of new movies is starting to talk again. They're taking pitches for new movies.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you have not just for like Gunn and Nightmare on Elm Street in general, but now you have Wes Craven's estate reclaiming those rights. They have a lot to work with now. But that said, it's only the OG, right? But it's that story is enough because you have Nancy in that. Then you have Freddy. You got Johnny Depp. I'm just kidding. But I mean, the main story, unlike Friday the 13th, it is in that first movie. That character is right there. That's not the case for F-13. That's why it's so weird with this whole lawsuit.
Right.
And then after that, if Nightmare on Elm Street, you have Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which has a new movie coming out in theaters for the first time in...
Leatherface was what, 20?
But that wasn't even that wasn't even that was 16, but it wasn't even in theaters. It was
Was it? Oh yeah, it was. It was straight to VOD, I believe.
I don't think they've had anything since like Texas Chainsaw Massacre the beginning. Like it's been that long, like 12 years, something like that. It's been a hot minute. And Texas Chainsaw Massacre is it's so close to like it's got to do good this time, right?
Right.
And they know it too. Like that's why they have this fancy ass website. They made that cool ass teaser poster. I haven't seen a movie website in years. And now this new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie is doing that. And they're already paying homage to the OG by having them on the poster, doing the dance,
Mm-hmm.
You have Dead by Daylight getting new skins for Leatherface for the first time ever. It took years for that to happen. So obviously now they're looking at games. Okay. They opened a door to games again with Dead by Daylight. It begs the question, man. Like, could they do a video game? Now's the time, maybe. I don't know.
Right. After that, how many pre-90s franchises are warranting of a video game? Because we know in our interview with Wes and Ronnie that they don't want to touch anything newer. Maybe they would do Scream.
Yeah, they said before 2000. So technically, Scream is on the board there, but
we maybe Chucky 2, Child's Play. I don't know about that. One thing that always interested me was like Victor Crowley. We know Adam Green is full on with developing the franchise, and the relationship that Gun Media has with Kane Otter could be good, but I still think that's just too new.
Oh man, you know what's something I haven't thought about at all with this stuff? So let's say it is a Halloween or Nightmare or TCM. Let's go through all three of those. We could do Child's Play as well. I don't think it's Scream. Scream just doesn't really. I don't think it fits
multiplayer.
Gun. I think it could be multiplayer. I just don't think it really fits Gun. I think that would be if they had all 5 of these doors open to these horror IPs. I think that's the last one they walk through.
Right. Scream as a multiplayer game could basically be like what Paranoia was, or like Among Us right now, or Deceit.
Yeah, which would be kind of sick.
That'd be pretty cool. Yeah,
it would be kind of awesome. But yeah, okay. This is a random off topic here, or sort of off topic. But any of those games, who does the mocap? So Halloween, do you get James Hugh Courtney to come in and do mocap as Michael?
Yes.
And then for Nightmare on Elm Street, who does that? Do you grab Robert Englund to do the mocap as Freddy?
No, I don't think so.
It wouldn't be that physically demanding for him. I mean, he just got to suit up, really, and
it would be a cool homage, but a cheaper option, and probably just as.
But
good
he's
as
got
an
it.
option
He has to do the voice acting though. You
correct.
have to get him for the voice acting.
Correct. I think they might go with someone else on mocap for Elm Street there. What was next? TCM?
Yeah, which that one is probably the trickiest. You obviously can't do Gunnar Hansen. May he rest in peace. You have Ari Milahoff, who, I mean, he's a big boy, but he's still he's in good shape. I mean, he's moving.
Yeah.
Kane has doubled as Leatherface in the past. I don't know if his movements really work. Who plays him in the remake? I want him. If I had to pick one Leatherface that's still alive and moving well, I would grab that dude.
TCM remake. Yeah, the 03 one, right?
Yeah, the 03 one. I forgot his name.
Andrew Bernarski.
Andrew
Bernarski.
I also think the guy in 3D is good as well, but
he's in TCM the beginning too.
Yeah, I think that's the scariest Leatherface ever been. So if you had to pick one person, that's probably the way. For Child's Play, on the other hand, I don't know what you do there.
A child.
Probably don't even do mocap.
No, probably not. I mean, we've seen what's the Charlie the Legend?
Yep.
They obviously didn't do mocap. They couldn't really afford mocap as well. Indie game, but yeah, probably no mocap for for a Child's Play game.
Yeah, I just don't. I think if you do mocap, I think it actually would make the movements look too natural.
Yeah.
There's something robotic about Chucky, mainly because he's a robot half the time. So I think that needs to be captured in the game kind of as well. So
right.
Yeah, a little bit of a tangent there, but I'm just saying I never thought about that. It's like, well, you had Kane here. Who are you gonna grab for another horror IP game if you do one?
Scream? Who's gonna do the mocap for Scream?
Get the dude that's always played Ghostface. I forgot his name as well, but he's played Ghostface every single Scream movie. You can also do Chris Rand. Could jump him and throw him in there. Although Chris Rand's like 6'4", 6'5". It's kind of, I don't know if he really. Again, mocap though, it doesn't really matter. I mean, Jason's like 8 feet tall in the game,
and the counselors are like 4 foot.
Yeah, I actually don't think Jason's that tall. I think the counselors are just that short. But
yeah.
Oh well. Okay, back on topic. I got one more point. I got one more clip here from Wes that I thought was interesting and hopefully means good things for us. He talks about trailers and how building hype is important for games, but having a gap in between release date and trailer is bad. So let's take a look at that clip real quick, and I'll give you my thoughts.
That was another hard one to juggle, is if you've got that long of a space between the first time you said, hey, guess what? I'm making this game and here's a trailer for it. If you got to wait 2-3 years before you get to play it, the hype is, to try to reclaim that hype is almost impossible, because people go, oh, dope, this game is going to be great. Wait, does it come out for 2 years? And now you're silent again, and you hope, well, the next time we put a trailer, I hope we can claim some of that back. But getting back to that top hype, it's very, very difficult.
Yeah, so like Wes said, hype is very key, especially for horror games like this. If you drop a trailer and the release date's 3 years later, you're in trouble. And Friday kind of did that. We know how the release date worked with that game.
The one thing though that was different about Friday the 13th is they did panels at PAXs multiple times a year. They would release new videos and talk with the fans. Like we did a Twitter poll on Part 9's Eye.
Yeah.
I believe it was a Twitter poll or like a Google form on what the final Jason in the game was going to be.
Well, it was they reached a stretch goal, which people forget about the stretch goals as well, and how many they didn't hit yet got into the game anyway. But whatever. But one of the stretch goals was if they hit it, they'll add 3 new Jason skins voted upon by fans. I think it was a Google form, and that's how we got J9, J8, and J6. That's how we got those ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like that was different. Friday the 13th, the game is just so different in many ways throughout the pre-launch as well.
I know I don't like saying this because this is where all the brown nosing shit comes in, because we get shit for that all the fucking time. But this is just like, honestly, it's just true, and not even looking at who they are as people, but try to think of another game where you could just go and DM one of the fucking president, the founder of the game, and he'll answer you and do streams like this and just be so one-on-one with you. Like Matthew Cote of Dead by Daylight kind of does that. Like they loosely do that, but not like that. Like you have such a one-on-one, and I honestly think that's where a lot of the issues come from. I think people have gotten so personally, like, I hate Wes Keltner. Because you gave me the opportunity to talk to you, and I'm frustrated with the game. I hate you. I don't hate Gun. I don't hate the game or Ilphonic. I hate you individually. That's why when they got death threats and shit, that's because they opened the fucking door, man. And like I'm grateful as shit for that, because dude, this video isn't possible without communication. Like without Wes saying the shit on Twitch, like this doesn't happen. I don't know, man. I think that's something we forget about sometimes. Take it for granted.
It's kind of surreal, back when we started Slash and Cast in July of 2016 or 27. When did we start Slash Cast?
It was 16.
16. Like we made Slash Cast episodes on these panels and these tweets, and we always had something to talk about with Friday the 13th, the game, and the game didn't come out for a whole year at that point.
Yeah, literally every episode, not only of Slashcast, but of MWM Project, had something to talk about at 13.
Like there was always something with either with what Wes was asking a question or taking a poll or doing something like that, or PAX. Like they did so many streams. They had Tom Savini on one of those streams.
Yeah, and the reveal of Savini Jace as well. Yeah, there's always... this is why I'm so fucking excited for the next game, because that was such an insane time, and I'm excited to go down that road again.
Like that built so much hype for Friday the 13th fans. That built so much hype.
And are they going to do it again?
I don't think so.
I think so. Their convention game is always strong, right? I mean, look at fuck F13, but look at Layers of Fear 2. Like, they went in and stole the show at PAX, man.
I mean, they had a billboard. They had the big banner or electronic banner outside of the convention center. Like, the
mannequins, and they had the private dinner room, and they had the glasses made and shit. Like, they go over the top for conventions. So let's see where they go with the next game.
Yeah, hopefully we can get some conventions next year.
Yeah, please God.
Hopefully we can go to some conventions next year. If not, we can see them live.
Dude, if they announce ahead of time a reveal is happening at this convention or blah blah, I'm going. I don't give a fuck where it's at. I will make it to it. Hopefully that happens. My point of showing that clip though, I'll try to keep it. Try to get my point across here before we go on a tangent. Go down nostalgia road. They took a long time after they dropped the original trailer for F13 to get to the point where there was a release date, and they did a good job of keeping hype. Like you just said, there was always something to talk about, so hype was always kind of there. But I think this time around, I think they're going to drop a trailer, and either that first one might have a release date or the second one will. And like, we're going. That's it. And it'll probably be not 2 or 3 years. It'll probably what was Predator? It was 8 months, 8-month turnaround after
it was E3, I believe, or it was the Game Awards. I think it was E3.
I can't remember.
I don't remember. Yeah, it was about 8-9 months, I think, from announcement to release date.
Yeah,
for Ilphonic.
Right. So I mean, if Gunn does that same type of thing with this next game, it should be a pretty quick turnaround. We should. I mean, fuck. Matt did say on Twitter, because somebody asked like, "Hey, before the end of the year, we're getting a reveal." He's like, it's just too soon. I think he might have said far too soon. I don't know how he worded it. I don't know. I would think a reveal would come at either PAX or E3 because it needs to be big. It also depends where they're at with COVID. Who knows how we're looking with cons, but
and E3 was looking for they've been looking at not doing E3 anymore, like just because they're not making as much money,
right?
And they, COVID, they were like, sorry, we can't do it. But on Twitter that day, everyone's just like, the masterminds behind E3 finally, having a reason to be canceled. They're like, yes, finally. So who knows? I really hope E3 happens again. E3 was like every, summer, middle school and high school and college, I would just the whole week just be on my computer watching the live streams. E3 was special. I really hope E3 happens. I hope that, like these PAXs can happen again. Hopefully, we see conventions happen again.
Yeah. Gunn has a very good relationship with PAX. So anytime, if Gunn's going to a PAX, just keep your eyes open. All right. Cause there's probably something bound to happen at one of those.
Yes.
Yeah, man, I don't know. I'm just excited, and I want to build hype before we get to the point where we have hype. I like, morale has been so down when it comes to F13, and so many people have been sharing their stories with the game. And we did the video that was "Thank You for editing the game," which is just basically a highlight compilation of exciting moments that happened over the years. And so many people share, like thousands of comments on that video, just sharing their story and how the game changed them. And it's like, I know this door is closing, sorta. It's just, but at the same time, another one's opening, man. And it's probably not that far away. Like it gives me goosebumps just thinking of how close it might be.
Right. No one is more upset about, the last patch of Friday the 13th than the guys at Gun Media. But no one is more excited about what's coming next in the next year or two than Gun Media is.
Yeah, I want to know. I have so many questions. I brought up the mocap thing, and I'm like, oh man, like who's developing? Who's going to be voice acting? If it's an IP based game, we know it's multiplayer. What maps are we looking at? How many skins will there be? If it's a Nightmare game, how many Freddy's skins do you have? If it's a TCM game, how many Leatherface do you have? If it's a Halloween game, how do you mix in those?
I would love to be a fly on the wall in every single, just meeting of those. It would just be so fun, to go on the journey with them. They're sitting there with all the information, being giddy about it and posting about it on Twitter, posting new girl gifs.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited as all hell. And you have whatever this game is, then you have like the Evil Dead game, which I don't think those are together. I don't think Gunn's working on the Evil Dead game.
No, I don't think so.
It could be a good fit, to be fair, and I think Evil Dead could be a pretty dope multiplayer game. But I just don't think, I don't know, Bruce being so open about it. You think, why would Gunn keeping it a secret?
Right.
Nah, I don't know. Whatever. If it is one, that's fine, because I know they'll do Evil Dead justice. But it'd be cooler if there's an Evil Dead game being worked on separately, and you got another horror IP game coming from Gunn at the same time.
Yeah. That'd be really interesting. We're out here, thinking of one thing, and then out of left field, it's the game that we knew was coming all along, Evil Dead, and it turns out to be them. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. In my brain, I see two different horror IP games coming at the same time, which would
That'd be awesome.
I would have so much content to make.
It'd just be I'd make time to play games again. Like both of us really don't have time to just sit and play anything.
These next gen consoles, though, I gotta start making time.
Yeah, if anybody has a PS5, hit me up.
There's
I'm willing to pay
plenty
retail.
There's plenty of people that have PS5s on eBay for like $1,200.
Yeah, I'm willing to pay retail.
I think they'll be back in stock come Christmas.
I hope so, because I pre-ordered Miles Morales, the disc version, the launch edition. Not knowing how hard it would be to get a PS5. And so that got delivered the other day, and I'm sad because I just get to look at it and I can't play it.
Is it launch edition? Did you get the extra skins?
Yep,
man.
it's launch edition.
It's a pretty great game, by the way.
I wouldn't know.
I would. Well, I mean, you could have got it on PS4, or PS4.
I don't want it on PS4.
No,
I want to play it on my next gen console that I don't have.
Yep. All right, so that's gonna wrap up this video. If you enjoyed, make sure you drop a like, subscribe for more videos like this one. Let us know all your thoughts on what you think Gun's next game is. If you really want to go into detail on that, we did those streams a few months back that was like, is a Halloween game possible, where we chatted with the chat and kind of broke down. I think we did it. I don't think we've done Halloween yet. I think we just did Nightmare, right?
I bet we did Halloween, but I bet it was not planned.
We did a video a while back, but
oh yeah, we did the whole series where we took just a bunch of franchises and did that, and that was fun. But we hit the main franchises, and do we really want to rehash the old video? Maybe it's worth the conversation.
In terms of videos, I wouldn't do them, but I think streams, it's cool to do it with the chat because people
us more
they
ideas.
say something and then we can run with it, or we say something and they run with it.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun because we get to we do those videos and we sit there and we're like, I don't know if we have any more ideas, and then we get comments. We're like, why didn't we think of that? That was awesome.
Right.
That's awesome. So.
Yeah, so do that in the comments right now. Give us all your breakdown of any of those games. And yeah, maybe it'll trigger some ideas, and we'll go into it in a stream sometime. All right, with that, as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.